TriLLG.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy TriLLG. Let's get straight into it. I'm gonna talk about wealth within the black community. Well, I don't think it's directly just about wealth, but maybe more so the lack of wealth. Right? Every generation we pinpoint the failures of our previous, and for some reason we are lucky or I don't know if I want to say it's lucky, but whatever. We are lucky enough to be able to blame the failures of our ancestors on people who are not our ancestors. So we blame black people being enslaved to like white people who are enslaving them. Right? We don't blame the black people for being ignorant of the devices that kept them enslaved. We don't. We just literally don't. I've never heard any black person blame slaves for being enslaved. Whether it meant that we allowed our people to be taken across the rocky seas to America, or whether we were already here in America and were taken advantage of or lost a war, whatever the perspective is, you never hear that, it's our fault. Which is cool, right? But I think what that perspective does, in terms of looking at our antiquities, it brings that very same mentality to our present, when we understand that science works on the observable now, which has ultimately it has infinite directions your now can go in, right? So basically what I'm saying, if my now could go in any direction I want it to go, and when I say I don't mean I as in, TriLLG. I mean I as in the observable mind. The mind that is also undefined. So potentially source. Potentially God. But I don't want to get into that tangent right there. Let's bring it back. So if my now can go in any direction it wants, maintaining a mentality of external blame will only subjugate myself as an object to be abused, used, even put on a pedestal in certain situations without my control. That, to me, is it's very important to understand that dynamic of the human experience. When we are looking at what we want as black people, African, indigenous, aboriginal people, Negroes, what we want for ourselves once we pass on into the afterlife and are seen as ancestors by the next generation of our lineage. So, all this to say, I may, for political gain, want to blame white people and their ancestors for subjugating my ancestors, but for my own personal benefit, I must at all times blame myself for my ails, for where I'm going or not going in my own life. Why? Because it is a mentality. It is the manifestation of a mentality that keeps me as an object to be abused, used, or even put on a pedestal by an agent. That agent may be a white person, might be another black person. Who knows who that agent will be? But we also know that it is in our human nature to take advantage of situations, regardless of our moral. I don't want to say moral because it has nothing to do with right or wrong, but just I guess more cultural, our cultural positioning. So I'm gonna say it one more time, and maybe in a more simplistic form. It is better for me to blame myself and to take ownership of everything that I am experiencing, even if I cannot pinpoint the blame or the source of that reason to put blame to myself. But I have to maintain a mentality that I am the author and creator of my faith, not anybody else, because from that position, I become an agent. I become the one able to make a difference, not looking for a difference to be made to affect me. I become the effector, not the affected. It is a very powerful revelation if you understand what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? If you understand the implications of how that will affect every decision in your life. It will affect whether you can be pro-black or not. It will affect whether you can be Black Lives Matters, whether it is from just the terminology or the political party itself, because those are two different conversations. But that mentality actually affects both sides of those conversations. So think about that. Share your comments. Leave me your thoughts. Subscribe. And like the video, dang. Help a brother out. I'm out here trying to start from scratch. You know what I mean? It's not like back in the day when I had my 4,000 subscribers and videos that already went viral. I'm starting from scratch, and I'm trying to do it off of knowledge, not just showmanship. You know what I mean? So if you appreciate knowledge, if you appreciate this small talk series, share your thoughts. Hit me with a like and subscribe.
TriLLLG.
You don't know. Peace.
Maxwell. Let it go. You keep word for bullshit, trapping's all I know. Rolling off someone's prescription, I bet you ain't know.
GSC, baby.